and Services Incorporated, we welcome you to our 2021 Infomax and M-Files Tech Update. This is our second year that we are having this event in the virtual environment. We are grateful that you are here with us. I guess generally we share the common belief that businesses should go on in spite of the challenges of the time. Today, we have a mixed group, existing clients and new clients. For those of you joining us now, it's nice to have you in our event. To our partner clients, it's good to see you again. So, what do we have for you this morning? The first topic in our agenda is if you are trying to look for a document, we will show you M-Files Advanced Full Text Search capability so that no matter where the document resides in the repository, we can display it instantly. And these documents, once they are in the system, we can fully manage the information in your organization. The next topic in our agenda today, well, remember those standard documents that we use in our business operations like contracts, HR application, credit advices? Well, we can create templates and do not need to type everything again. We will just put the important information and they get filled up automatically in the form. Our third topic, do you need to monitor these documents, their expiration? M-Files can provide you with a notification and report, so monitoring can be done easily before its due date. We can set the number of days before expiration so you can do all the preparation that you need. We are also fortunate that one of our existing clients will share how our solution is being used in their invoice processing to improve their productivity while working from their home or anywhere, in their office or on the go. In addition, we will also introduce an important feature of M-Files. We call it the Intelligent Metadata Layer Network Folder Connector, whereby we can establish a connection between M-Files and external repositories. They bring external data into the M-Files user interface and allow it to be viewed and modified in the same fashion as information is commonly processed in M-Files. And the good news is these features are free with an M-File subscription license. Okay? So finally, we will also present an M-File solution partner called DocuShield. This is an add-on module and we will feature its reduction component. This will address the requirement of the government's Data Privacy Act. So it looks like we have a whole plate for you this morning. Hopefully, we will learn a lot. So to our guests, again, thank you very much for spending your time with us today. And as they say, just sit back and relax. Good morning again.
All right. Thank you very much, Miss Mary Ann, for that warm welcome to our guests. So I know everyone is very excited to learn new information about MFiles. So without further ado, I'd like to call on our next speaker. He will present a short introduction of MFiles. He is one of our account specialists here in Infomax. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Harold Masilang. Mr. Harold, you can now share your screen.
Hello, can you see my screen now?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay. Thank you, Ice, for introducing me. So, good morning, everyone. I am Harold Masilang, account specialist of Infomax Systems. So, basically, my objective for 15 minutes is I'll be giving an overview about MFiles. Most of you here have an idea what mFiles does, but for the benefit of non-mFiles users, mFiles is an ECM tool or enterprise content management solution. Unlike traditional ECM systems, mFiles allows organizations to manage content and information regardless of whether that information resides in mFiles or other business systems or repositories. It allows any organization to effectively address the process, productivity, and compliance challenges they face caused by content chaos without disrupting existing processes, systems, or users. Now, for non-MFALS users here, does your situation look like this? You have multiple fragmented repositories. You're having a difficulty to find information with these applications below and low user adoption. Type 1 in the chat box if yes. So as you can see here, most of these challenges are somewhat related with these applications. And later on, we'll be discussing about network folders and OneDrive and how it connect to mFiles. So moving forward, what we are saying here is the old approaches no longer work, especially nowadays that most of us are in work from home setup. If people and organization do not have the right tools, they will resort to traditional ways of accessing documents and collaborating. And we all know that it's hard to work with physical documents if we are work from home, right? Well, information management can be easy. That is true. M files. So in M files, we organize all information based on what it is rather than where it is. So on this right side, this is the traditional way of finding, accessing, and managing information. The current situation in businesses often still relies on where information is stored. The users need to know in which system, on which SharePoint site, or in which network or other folder the relevant and important piece of information is stored. This can create inefficiencies as the ways to save and archive information vary from person to person. Now, we want to take the where out of the picture. With M files, it is enough to know what you are looking for, whether that is an agreement document, an invoice, or customer data, or even related workflow state. It is enough to know something about what you're looking for through the power of metadata. So all of this contributes to a digital enterprise experience, bridging the digital workplace with mFiles. As an example, on this left side, Office 365 offers the various applications for modern digital workplace, including Outlook, Microsoft Word, SharePoint, and Teams. Connecting the Office 365 suite with the information management and process automation capabilities of mFiles, we create an environment that is not only user friendly but offers organizations unprecedented levels of control and governance over their information and businesses. So get it your way. mFiles offers flexibility on deployment in the cloud, on premise, or as a hybrid solution. With mFiles edition version, you can have as many servers as you like, all at the same price. Again, that's with mFiles edition version. So this is the desktop interface of mFiles. We have the search tab here, the view panes, assigned to me, recently accessed, and the metadata card. So mFiles UI is like a single pane of glass where all of your needed information about your documents can be seen, regardless of the location of the documents, what device you're using, and what type of document you're trying to access. M files can be used to access and manage them. Okay, moving forward. And when it comes to the topics of migration or connecting data repositories, selected connectors to external systems and repositories are free of charge, and some comes with an additional fee. However, these features make sure you no longer need to worry where your information is stored. You can search for, find, and manage all information across systems and repositories from your AmFiles user interface. This means you don't have to migrate data but can still manage it. Unified interface to all data and content. mFiles is also available as a mobile application for iOS and Android devices. The mobile applications enable you to, for example, gain access to all Vault content and mark your assignments as complete on the go, as well as to create and share new objects with your mobile devices. These are the available solution templates with pre-configured workflow of mFiles. So mFiles is a platform in which business process is configured. And as you may know, these are some of the use cases available for mFiles in business management consulting. Next is the mFiles Cloud, which delivers a highly elastic and scalable cloud experience. Customers can control the residency of of the customer data by selecting the deployment location from the available Azure data centers. The server environment includes all the software and hardware that you need, and the required licenses like database and server operating system licenses are also covered by the service. The subscription fee covers hosting and maintenance expenses, including cloud server maintenance and updates. Okay. So why mFiles? So in summary, before I hand over to next presenter, mFiles integrates with existing systems and it enhances them, such as Salesforce, SharePoint, specific professional services in systems, in accounting, consulting, and etc. mFiles does not require heavy and expensive data migration as the information can stay where it is now. This also means that there is no big disruption to day-to-day activities. mFiles is also easy to use. Many people who have absolutely no technical background have been able to use it on day one. Training is usually for enhanced use, but basic use is very intuitive and immediate thanks to window-based UI of mFiles. And finally, mFiles is not application specific and can be configured and adapted for all sorts of business needs. Okay, so that is the short overview of mFiles. We are now open for questions.
I think we don't have any questions so far. So anyway, thank you so much, Mr. Harold. So we now have some overview of what MFAS can do for us, right? So let's have a deeper understanding on how MFAS is beneficial, especially most of us are working from home. So to discuss one of the MFAS features, the advanced full text search, I'd like to call on our solutions architect associate, Ms. Joanne Magcalas. Ms. Joanne, you may now share your screen.
Hello, good morning, guys.
Nandiyan ngayon. May taga-Pinas. Sector lang nakita ko po, ma.
Yes, hello, good morning. Can everybody see my screen now?
Yes, Miss Jo.
Okay. This morning, I will discuss about the MFAS Advanced Full Text Search. So, if you're, I think every one of us here is familiar when we're going to search something using Google or any other browser. It's almost just like that with MFiles. So with MFiles search facilities, we have these two options wherein we're basing our search. So firstly, um, we are searching using the metadata. So what's the advantage when searching with metadata is that it is fast and it is an accurate search. So whatever you're searching, you can specify every little details and then it will give you the specific results that you're searching for. On the downside of it, firstly, when you're inputting your documents, you have to manual input your all of the metadata based on what document it is. So that's the con. While with the full text search, which we are going to discuss this morning, is that one of the upside of this is that you don't have to manually entry all of the metadata. You can just put your documents inside MFAS and do nothing. But the cons is it will give you many search results, just like Google when searching within Google. So you have to manually select what document is that you're using, and then you can have it checked inside MFiles. Right? So searching in MFiles is the most efficient way of finding your documents and other objects. It is especially useful when you remember only a single detail about your document. For example, I have to search my CV inside M files, but I only remember specific details such as the title of my document. So I can do that within M files. Or you can either search the creation date of your document or the user who created the document. So to give you an introduction on the MFAS desktop user interface. So here on my screen, I will specifically discuss about the parts of
Joanne,
MFAS.
wala akong naririnig.
Hello?
Yes,
Ah,
Miss Joanne.
Hello?
We can
yeah,
see you.
Is my audio okay now?
now okay
Yes.
na.
Okay. So on this part, on the upper left part of MFAS desktop user interface is what we call the task area. So on the task area, usually we create new documents, new assignment. We can also put new customers or projects or views. And then on this side, we can select to go to home or go to these different views, such as the view that was documents that is assigned to you, check out by you, your favorites, or recently accessed documents. On this part is what we call the right pane. This is where you see your some of the documents or views or folders that you have pinned. You can also see here the metadata of the specific document that you have chosen, the preview of it so you won't need to open each documents one by one just to check the content, and the additional filters to narrow down your search. On this part is what we call the quick search bar. So the quick search bar is where you type your keywords when you're going to search for your documents. And the last part is what we call the listing area. So the listing area is your main dashboard wherein you can see the documents. For example, this one that was recently accessed by you, the documents that you have been checked out for editing or revising, the documents or assignment that are currently assigned to you, and then this one is the list of common views that can be seen through all MPAS users in your organization. So with so I will open the demo for our views. A moment. Okay. So this is what a demo version of MFile. So if we're going to search for a so what we're going to do is firstly is what we call the quick search. So we just have to type the file name or the keywords that we remember about that document. So for example, here on the search bar, I will type contract. So it will give me the results here, and I'll just click the for example this first document. On this part is the metadata. As you can see, it highlighted the word contracts. And then on the preview mode, it will give me search results, and I can preview the documents, the content of the document. All right. So for the advanced search, so I can add more filters here. So for example, for the contract, I want to search for those documents that was accessed by me, and then the date when I access those documents. So it will narrow down my searches. All right. So for the operators and special characters, so these are some of the things that we can do to specifically find our information that we needed inside MPAS. So first is what we call the phonic search. So phonic search is um, it is used when you're searching for example, a word that you really don't know the exact spelling, but you know how it sounds. So you can type for the operator accent mark, so this one, and then following the characters or the word that you remember. So for example, I'll search for Darlene. So it gave me one result. So here, as you can see on the preview, it shows me the name Darlene. Okay, let's try one more for another name. So let's try Ross. It gives me Reese Murphy. There you go. So it's specifically helpful when you can't remember the spelling variations of the word that you're searching for. So next is what we call the exact match. So it is being used when you want to search for a specific phrase. You're going to use the operator quotation mark. So let's say I want to search for the exact word agreement.
Miss Joanne. Miss Jo.
Hello?
Yeah, we lost your audio.
Okay, just a moment. Okay. So I type the word agreement with inside the quotation mark. So it will give me results with just the word agreement. Okay. So as you can see, the word agreement is highlighted within the title of the document, the preview or the content of the document, and within the metadata. All right. So the next part is what we call the any single character. So for example, you only remember two or more letters, but you can't specifically remember the one specific letter or the one character. So usually that forgotten character, you can type the operator question mark to resemble that specific forgotten character. So for this example, let's type EST question mark. So it will give me search results such as ESTT. All right. So same goes. It will give you results within the metadata and preview mode. So next is any single digit. So when it's a number, instead of using question mark, you just replace that number with the hash sign or the number sign. So let's try 42 hash. It will give me results such as 426, 427, which is on this example, I represent them as the agreement number. All right. So for any number of characters, I can, if it's two or more characters that I cannot remember, I will put an asterisk. Okay, so let's try searching consult asterisk. So it will give me results such as consulting, consultation. There you go. So for if it's all of the search term that must be found, we use the operator and. So on this example, let's try consultation and agreement. So it will give me documents with the word agreement and consultation. Agreement, there you go, and consultation. So same goes if if it's only one of the search term that I need to found. You just replace the operator end with or. So on this example, real estate or manufacturing. So it will give me search results with the word real estate or manufacturing. So for the fuzzy search, usually fuzzy search is used when you're going to search for spelling variations of the search term. So we use the operator vertical bar, this one. So the characters before the vertical bar must have an exact match of the terms that we are searching. And then the number of vertical bars are the numbers of characters that must be ignored in the search term. So let's try registered address. So with the search for registered address, it gives me registered address, address alone. There you go. So basically, that's what MFAS Advanced Full Text Search is. So if you're not fond of adding metadata within all of your documents, you can just basically use MFile's full advanced full text search, and then you can already use your MFAS environment. Okay, so let me hand over this to Ice.
Okay, thank you very much, Miss Joanne. So Indeed, it is very helpful and efficient if we have this kind of features from MFA, especially when you remember only a single detail about the document or object, right? Okay, so I think this topic is very interesting. So let's move forward and know the other features of M files. The manage object using document template and calendar. So I'd like to call on our systems application support, Mr. Randy Apollo. Sir Randy, you may now share your screen. Sir Randy, I think you're on mute.
Sorry. Okay. Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Ice, for introducing me. Um, this time I'll be discussing MFL's manage object. So MFL's manage object is allows you to manage and control navigation of the document in MFiles. We can organize the way we want it to be viewed in MFiles. In manage object, we can easily look for a document of a company, for example, by navigating the documents in a hierarchical view. Okay, let me share my MFiles how to demonstrate and how the manage object works. Okay, so earlier, um, we have shown the search function in mfiles and how does it works. So this time, I'll be showing the manage object, how manage object works, and the advantage in terms of navigation and organizing the objects. So, for example, let's say I don't have manage object yet, and I'll search for a name Alex Kramer. Okay, so yes, it will also show all the results pertaining to the name Alex Kramer. But then again, using manage object, we can easily look for a document under the name of Alex Kramer. Okay, let me show you. Okay, so this is an example of an HRM files view. Let's go to manage employees since Alex is an employee. Let's go with internal employees. Okay, so we can see now Alex Kramer. So if we click on his name, we can easily see the department where he belongs to, the documents, his resume and W4 documents, and also the protected data. So, in compliance with the Data Privacy Act, M Files has a protected data. So, for this example, employee protected data is visible for employee himself, supervisor, and HR personnel only. Okay. So again, in Manage Object, we can easily look for a document by navigating in a hierarchical view, and that's how the Manage Object works. Okay, so for the next item that I'll be discussing, it's what we call the M-Files document template. Right, there you go. So M-Files can provide a document template which can be used to create document. The user fills out a predefined field which are then incorporated into the template to form a new document. Okay, I'll be showing my M-Files again to show how the document template works. So for this example, I'll be using a non-disclosure agreement or NDA document. So let me show first the template. So as you can see on the template, these are blank fields, and those blank fields will be automatically filled out after we create a non-disclosure agreement in M-Files. Okay, so let's look for a non-disclosure agreement for the company name Art Incorporated that has been already created in M-Files. Okay, so for this document, we can see all metadata has an available value. We can see the recipient party name, the address, business type, date created, and expiration date. So let's see the preview this on this non-disclosure agreement using the template. Okay, so this time we can see the blank field has been filled up automatically. So I also highlighted it using a bold text format. So we can see the date, we can see the name of the company, and the address. So this is how the document template works. We assign a template that we want to use for a document. Okay, so the next item that I'll be discussing is the MPELS calendar. So MPELS calendar uses the date value of a given metadata in a document. So it shows the event on your MPELS calendar that allows you to easily access and monitor it. I'm showing my MPELS again. So let me use the same document as an example earlier. I'll be using the non-disclosure agreement again. So as we can see on the metadata, there is an expiration date dated 8/18/2021. Okay, so in MPLS calendar, it will automatically tag the document that has an expiration date or a due date, or we can set any metadata that has a date value. Okay, let's see the MPLS calendar and see how it works. Okay, so the date that we're looking for is 8 or August 18, 2021, which is a future date. Okay, let's go for the month of August. Okay, so as we can see there, there's a document tag on this date. And if we click on this, it shows the non-disclosure agreement for the company Armed Incorporated. And if we click on the details, it is pertaining to the expiration date of this non-disclosure agreement. So this is how the MPLS calendar works. Okay. Actually, this is the last item on my presentation. Again, thank you, and I'll be giving back the floor to Miss Ice.
Okay. Thank you so much, Sir Randy. So we are now slowly understanding and appreciating the detailed features of MFAS. I know every one of you has a question and clarification. We are now opening the floor for some questions. So you may type in your question on our chat box. So I think I have some questions here for Sir Harold. Sir Harold, do you have clients already in the cloud?
Thank you for your question. We Infomax, we're an MFALS user on cloud. We have one for real estate, also one for non-profit organization, and last for HMO.
Okay, so we have few use cases already. Or clients using already cloud now. So for our next question for Sir Randy about the calendar, can we send can we send an email 60 days before expiration date?
Yeah, we can send, but we have to. I mean, in M files we have a workflow, what we called, and we can set a notification using
Okay.
the workflow.
I see. All right. Okay. So for those who want to ask questions, you can type in again on our chat box, and I'll be sending the link in our chat box as well for the feedback form later. So to continue our session, uh, let me call again Miss Joanne Magcalas to discuss the invoice processing. Miss Joanne?
All right, thanks, Ice. All right, so is my screen can be seen now?
Yes.
Okay. So for invoice processing, It is a sample. It is one of MFile's solutions template. So what you can see inside MFile's back office is that we have an accounting records management. So an accounting records management manage and process invoices, receipts, purchase orders, financial statements, and tax documents to increase operational efficiencies and minimize risk. So we have within MFAS back office accounting records management. So we have this following workflows. So we have the AR invoices, payments, financial statements, and general accounting, bank statements, purchase orders, and more. But this morning, we will just tackle about the AP invoices or the accounts payable invoices. So you will have a idea on how MFILs manage accounting records. All right. So for accounts payables, so basically it provides a basic AP invoice approval workflow process, assigning invoices to cost center manager, or for example to your accounting managers, or whoever it is that's managing your invoices, and then the one who's going to approve all of the invoices within your organization. So inside MFiles, this is what the AP workflow looks like. So it basically starts with a single document without any state or no state at all. Here you go. And then it goes after giving metadata or inputting all of the required information within that invoice, such as, for example, the invoice number or the invoice date, the amount of that invoice, who the vendor is, and the cost center manager or the one who will approve that invoice or disapprove that invoice. So it will go on this stage, the automatic routing. So if it needs more information, or for example, the information or metadata that was included is not yet complete, it will actually go on this stage, the accounting workup. So the accounting workup state is a state manually changed perhaps by your accounting personnel to provide any required metadata values for routing. So from here, your staff member can manually push here to the waiting for approval state, or it can go back here at the accounting routing, automatic routing. All right. So on the waiting for approval state, so it can be automatic again or manually assigned state. So upon arrival to this state, the object is automatically assigned to an Empire's users who is associated to the cost center manager or the one who will approve the invoice. So from this state, the manager can either approve the invoice, or he can accept the object, which will transition to this state. Okay, additionally, if the object is in a state more than 5 days, so for example, it is already waiting for approval for 5 days and no one is moving that object, so it will automatically transition to exception state. And then on this state, the approved, it is a manually assigned state. So upon arrival to this state, accounting can choose to live in this location or move it to the complete state. Generally, accounting will need to provide some sort of payment record, for example, to your ERP system, in which, in this case, this could be done manually as part of another state in a workflow process to automate the integration with your respective ERP solutions. Okay. For the exception state, so as I said, it is automatically or it can be manually assigned state monitored. So users may choose to make corrections about the metadata and then can put it back here on the waiting for approval for it to be approved. And then the canceled state is a manual assigned state. So upon arrival to this state, the accounting manager can choose to live in this location, or you can either also move it to the complete state. So the complete state is the final state of our process. All right. For the demonstration, okay. So for the demonstration, here's my M files, and for example, I will input a document inside M file. So for example, my AP 779. So it is an invoice that I want to be managed by MPAS. Okay. So upon dragging my documents inside the MFiles dashboard, it will automatically give me the metadata card, wherein I should input all of the required information or metadata for it to be stored inside MFiles and for it to be managed by MFiles. So on this example, I will choose an AP invoice. And then as I chose a AP invoice, it gives me the following metadata for me to be filled up. So as you can see, there are two types of metadata, the one with asterisk and the one without asterisk. So if the metadata has asterisk, it means that that information is required and that I cannot save my document inside MFAS if I did not put a metadata on that part. So for the vendor, so let's say the vendor is the widget company. For example, the cost center is sales US West. And then the invoice date, I can say today is the invoice date and the amount is, let's say, 1,800. The invoice status, since I just put it now, I can say that it is new. And the payable terms, for example, is net 30. So this information are the pre- metadata that we actually configure at the start of your MPiles journey. So that's why it already has some information already here. So the invoice number, for example, AP 779. And then as you can see on this part, this is the um, automatically remove permissions for this object. So it is basically specified when we put in the class. So on this document, the automatic permission goes to the accounting department since it is an AP invoice. And then on this part, it is what we call the states within the workflow. So the workflow is the accounts payable workflow. And then for the state at this moment is the automatic routing. So if we go back, so for example, we go back to our workflow here. So I drag and drop the document inside M files, so it has no state. But upon fill up fill upping the metadata, it will automatically goes to this state, automatic routing. All right. So I will create the document. So the the workflow state is automatic routing. Since I had filled up all of the needed information. All right. So this is the document that I created. So it's the widget company AP779. So the date is, there you go. And then if we preview the document, it will give me the information inside the invoice that I have uploaded. And then the metadata, here you go. So the state is waiting for approval. So for the accounting manager to see this specific invoice, he just goes to this view, finance, and then accounts payable, waiting for approval view. So this is the view where the accounting manager can see all of the invoices that he needs to review. Either he approve it or he rejects it. So let's say I am the accounting manager and I have checked this invoice and then I approve it. So it will prompt me that this document will be changing state to accounts to approve, and then I can put some comments. So let's save it. So as you can see, the invoice is gone on this state, and let's check it inside the approve view. So this is the document now. So if we go back to our workflow, after the automatic routing and accounting workup, when we input all of our needed information, so the document now is waiting for approval and is now approved. So the next state, so if it is already approved, and then the choice that I have here as an accounting manager, I can put it back. I can put it now to the complete state if it's already done. Complete, and then save. Now it goes to the complete views. This is all of the invoices that was completed based on the state. So if we went back to our workflow, for example, if the workflow goes with waiting for approval, but then the manager um, disapprove it, it goes on this state exception. And then after some workup, you can put it back on the waiting for approval state, or it can be canceled, and we can all move everything in the completed state if, for example, as I said earlier, we want to manage all of this information on our ERP solutions. So here you go. So it's the accounts payable workflow within MFS. So if you think that you can use this, MFS is um, gladly to help you managing your accounting records. All right. I'll give back the floor to Ice.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Joanne, for a very detailed presentation and demo of invoice processing. Okay, so for our next speaker, we have invited one of our user of M-Files. He will be sharing to us on how M-Files helped them, especially in our current situation. He's been in the IT industry for almost 13 years with a various area of expertise like in retail, e-commerce, team management, HRIS, help desk, and others. He is currently the IT manager of Liquigas Corporation Philippines. Please welcome Mr. Tony Monteras.
Hi, good day everyone. And today I want to share to you our experience with Infomax. You know what? This era is very challenging for us. Not just that you need to boost your ego, but to adapt to the new normal. And implementing a project nowadays is somehow different from the way it used to be. You know, this is how I admired Infomax for being dynamic and easily adapt the environment our company have set up. From waterfall methodology to Scrum transition, I saw and experienced their total package when it comes to the product they provide. Our company, Liquigas, is using a legacy software of archiving before, since 2012. And this team has presented as a quality yet affordable solution that will hit the ROI of the company. And maybe you're going to ask, or what product they did offer to you. You know, we are using M files to replace our legacy archiving system. We finished the implementation last December 28, 2020. And while the data migration was finished last January 2021. How was the implementation? You may going to wonder how it works, you know. Implementation was difficult, you know, due to the pandemic. And but I say, you know, I'm going to say that this advantages supersede the disadvantages. But I saw two advantages lang naman of this pandemic. You know, aside that Infomax is a very great when it comes to, you know, implementing a project software, you know. But the advantages of this pandemic is we can set a meeting on the spot, and you know, we can call them, we can set, okay, we can have the solution, and we can, you know, the 15 minutes stand-up meeting is really works for us. So talagang every day merong a project updates, so what's going on until the time that we finish the the, the M files implementation. And another one is the number two, collaboration becomes visible. Really. So for this team, um, from technical group to the support group, you know, up to the level of the sales and marketing. So talagang I can say that collaboration talagang nandun talaga siya. And there's one sole disadvantage. So the disadvantage is no face-to-face intervention. So we didn't see each other up till now. So and di kami talaga nagkikita. Um, and Infomax really did it in a agile way. So lahat ng projects namin from the ano, so from yung sa migration, the implementation, naka-agile lahat siya. And you may probably going to ask also, and how was the post implementation now? So if they're great with the implementation, so how was the post implementation naman, the support? In terms of post implementation, I can describe them in one word: great. Great means that they will support you just like a member of a family. So no wonder talagang hindi kanila iiwan. They have the unwavering support in times we ask for the time. So, even now, talagang nandun pa rin yung ano nila. And they, you know, all issues hindi umaabot to ng araw eh. So talagang may isang ano lang, let's say nag-cut off. So that's ano lang, like today, gabi na halimbawa, or um, they will kinabukasan they will provide you a solution. Yeah, that's how they work. And overall assessment, for me, Infomax is an ideal company that is a ISO level certified. I see the way Infomax handle confidential data. They are very systematic yet very agile, and Infomax really is a family to Liquigas. Again, they are, should I say, a support or taga-push namin. It's like a brother that will push you to the limit. Talagang we can, you know, that the software they provided to us really help us, especially this era of pandemic na um, very ano eh, systematic, yung process niya talagang automated talaga lahat. So now that really nagbigay sila sa amin ng panibagong um, environment or another solution talaga na ano. And this one is really helping the operations of Liquigas. Again, to Infomax family, to Infomax team, I would like to extend my thank you, and maybe the thank you is not just talagang kulang pa siya para sabihin na salamat sa provided na system ninyo. If not, maybe we are in the situation na napakahirap ngayon. So with that, I thank you for your effort, for your support, sa lahat ng tao na nasa likod ng Infomax. Maraming maraming salamat sa inyo. And again, this is Tony Monteras of Liquid Gas Philippines Corporation saying salamat sa inyong lahat. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
So thank you so much, Sir Monteros, for sharing your experience with us on how IM files help you in Infomax as well. So let me call on our next speaker. He will be discussing intelligent metadata layer and network folder. So please welcome our solutions architect, Mr. Jared Amul. Jared, you may now share your screen.
Yes, thank you for that, Ice. Let me share one. Okay, so for this morning, I'll be reporting regarding on external repositories, which are Network Folder Connector and also OneDrive. There's also other repositories like Google Drive or any other repositories that you are using. So mainly, I'll be focusing on today will be Network Folder Connector. So when we say Network Folder Connector, as you can see here, at the left side, we have a folder on a network drive. This is our standard output when we check on our documents. And as we can see here, we have a network folder connector from M files. And for that, we can search our files inside M files. So we don't need to go to our network drive to check our documents. We can just use M files for that. And once on M files, we have our documents or other files. We can use them or to promote them to have a class. As we can see here, we set our feasibility study, promote it to a project plan class. And on the right side here, we can see the views that we have a project plan. So it will have a feasibility study. The class is on this class is on project plan views, and also for the project agreements. So it will be under agreements or project agreements. Then so we can see here we have unmanaged versus managed object. So when we say unmanaged object, it is still on the network drive, and it is still not being managed by M files. So an unmanaged object, files can be searched using M files. So it will be the same with managed object. And files can be viewed by external viewer or M files. So when we say external viewer, we can view is for PDF like Adobe PDF, Microsoft Word, Excel, or PowerPoint. Same goes with managed object. And files can be modified via external editor or M files. So we can modify the files inside our repository or outside repository via M files. So same with managed object, but on managed object, there's a history being retained by M files. So when we say history, when we change a or edit a file, we can see a hierarchy on when it was changed or what are the changes that been made to that file or document. The next is unmanaged object. Changes are saved to the external repository, and change are saved to the external repository also. So it's just the same with managed object. Okay. So external repositories authentication. So there's three authentications that we have, which are anonymous authentication. This is you must set the authentication setting for anonymous for repositories that do not need to authenticate users at all. So when we set it to anonymous, users don't need to log into that repository. Then common authentication, the administrator specifies credentials that are stored in M-Files Vault database encrypted format. So when we set a COM authentication, the administrator will provide the username or password for that repository. Then next is a personal authentication, where it is when you log into that repository, it will show you this login pop-up message. So you will need to put your username and password for that repository. Okay, so that's for the external repositories or network folder connector. Next, I'll be providing a intelligence metadata layer or intelligence service of M-Files. So when we say intelligence service, it aids you on tagging documents with the metadata. So as you can see here, there's a generic agreement document. Then M-Files will analyze that document and it will show you the suggestions or generate the suggestions for the metadata. So when we say the class, it will check for that class. It will be agreement, customer, project, and once you tag those metadatas, it will generate it automatically. Then it will be the document is added to the vault. So for my demonstration, I'll be demonstrating on the network folder and also this automatically tagging with the intelligence service for M-Files. So let me just switch my screen. Okay. So as you can see here, I have my M-Files open and I have two external repositories or shared folder that I have here. So let's just view first our scanned folder. Okay. So on my scan folder, I have four different documents here, which are still on unmanaged object. So as you can see here, there's no other metadatas inside of it, and we can preview that file. So this is just a generic employee information form that I created. So just uh, also this one is a PDF format. We can preview it also there. Also a Excel file, this one. And also we can open this inside M file. So we don't need to go to our traditional folder if we need to edit this. So let me check this out and let's try to edit this. Okay. So let me edit a birth date here, 20. Okay. So let me save that. And it will ask a question if you want to check this in to our M files. So once it's checked in, we can preview it again and we can see the changes. But if we check on the history, there's no history at all because right now the class is an unmanaged object. So I want to have this document to be managed by M files. So we just need to change the class to the appropriate class that we need. So it is a employee information form there. So after that, we have those metadata generated by M files. But I don't want to input um, one by this. So what I said before, we have the intelligence services by M files where it will analyze the document and suggest the values for these properties. So how it is done is by clicking this analyze button. So it will analyze the our document and provide those suggestions for us. So there's no more typing. That's just we can choose the suggestions that M files provide us. So we can see here there's two words for its name, Octavius Klein. So middle name, last name, mail, phone number, mobile, its email address, birth date, and the SSS number. So once that's done, we have provided those information. We can save it, and we can see here now it is a mfiles populate those metadatas, and we can see the class is information, employee information form, and as you can see here. But I want this to be found in mfiles home. So as you can see here, I have other views like employee information. So what I've done here, this is filtered as employee information form where I can see those documents that is class that has a class of employee information. So as you can see here, so I don't need to go to my shared folder just to see those document. Okay. So once again, let me try to have this manage. So let's mfiles analyze this. So as you can see here, it also provide a suggestion for the class. So I want to use this, and again, it will suggest or populate the suggestions for us. Plain, fan, home, mobile, email, birthday, SSS. And save that. So again, it will be under employee information form. And let's go back to our view. So I have the view here. It should be two items already here. Okay. So, okay. So it can also analyze PDF files format. So we have a format here which is in PDF. So it can also analyze that for us. Okay. So there's no more typing that we need to do. Okay, hold on. Error card. This one. If we also rename the files in our M files, so let's sample is rename copy. It will also be changed onto our repository. So let me check on my shared folder, scanned folder. Okay, so it also changed my file name here. So if we rename this also here, it would need to change onto our M files also. Okay, you can see here that. Okay, so that's the power for our network connector and also for the intelligence services. So any metadata, we can have those suggestions configured regarding on what they input on that information or into our document. So it will search for that, give it a suggestion by M files, and so on. So that will be for network folder connector and also for intelligence services. I'll be giving it back to Miss Ice.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Baka ako lang nawala. Nawala ka
Yes,
sa
sir.
hindi. Baka ako lang. Ay,
Yes, sir. Apo. Clear naman po. Okay. Thank you so much, Jared, for that interesting demo. So, what an insightful presentation. We're learning a lot this morning, aren't we? So, we're now getting deeper understanding of the advanced features of MFiles. So, I believe we have some questions here in the chat box. So, let me check our questions. So, one question from our client to Randy. Can we sync in the MFiles calendar to Outlook?
Hello. Um, to answer that question, M files, there's no feature yet for M files to synchronize it in Outlook, M files calendar, I mean. But again, we do have a workflow that can send you a notification email, send you directly to your Outlook.
Okay. All right. So I hope that answer your question, sir or ma'am. So for our next question, this is for Joanne. So is there no effect in performance or process degradation if searching is done with special characters?
To answer that question, there's no effect. Yeah, there's no effect in performance or degradation using those special characters because it's just those are just operators which you actually add within your the keywords that you're searching for. Yep, that's it.
Perfect. Let me add. Uh,
Mm.
there is tama si Juan. If you look at it from the perspective of doing a search with a question mark and doing a search without any question mark, but I just want to emphasize that doing a search is on the doing a search on all your repositories will always be will have a performance impact depending on how big your repository is. Siyempre, if I have to go to a million records looking for that word, then that could slow you down. Uh, but this is M-Files has two search engines. This search engine, the DT search that they're using, is a search engine that only runs in one server. So we can tune that by putting it into a separate server just for what we call an index server. Okay, so proper configuration is needed if you anticipate a large number of queries running at the same time. So that's why we have to have a balance between metadata search and full text search. Now, some of the searches that Joanne demonstrated requires an option to be turned on in M-Files. So this is to prevent people from playing around with M-Files and doing a lot of searches and bringing down the server to bringing down the whole system to its knees. So yes, there is an impact that depends a lot on the size of documents that you are going to search, and of course the number of people who are doing the search at the same time. So to prevent that from happening, we can selectively turn off and turn on some of the search features. That's one. Second, we can reconfigure the system so that the search engine will be in a separate server. The third one is there is another search engine that is called HP Idle. Well, used to be HP, now was been bought by Micro Focus. It's a high performance search engine, but it comes at a price. So the DT search is free, or it's inside the package, but we have to use it wisely. If you want to have a lot of if you want to have a big repository to search, then we recommend that you buy the microfocus idle, which is multi-processing search engines. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Sir Joseph, for your input. So we have another question here, sir, from our client as well. So what is MFA's licensing scheme? Do you have a minimum number of users?
Okay, minimum number of users is five. Uh, we can come in at very small user, five users, either five named or five concurrent.
Okay, so I hope we answer that your question to our client. And another question here from Sir Christian. This is for Jared. Will the intelligence services work even if it is a PDF image?
Yes, when it is a PDF scanned image, but there's some lapses there. The scanned PDF image needs to be a clear, uh, a readable text.
Do we
But
need to OCR that first?
yes, sir, we also need to OCR that too, so it can separate the text from that image. And but yes, it will also
Mhm.
work with a PDF image.
All right. So, okay, I hope that answer your question, Sir Christian. So let's move forward for our next speaker. We'll be getting other questions later after our session. So moving forward for our next speaker, um, they will show us how to redact a document using a DocuShield. The, Using a DocuShield. So this session is very important when it comes in BPA. So here's a demo of Mr. Matthew Stevenson from Paragon System.
This is a video demonstration of the Paragon Systems DocuShield redaction engine. DocuShield utilizes two separate workflows to complete the redaction process. The two processes are one, a template recognition with regex or regular expression searches, and the other is a subfield of artificial intelligence known as named entity recognition or NER. These two methods are part of a natural language processing machine learning. Together, these two redaction methods enable us to quickly and accurately redact documents. The learning process is accomplished by the Paragon annotator. The annotator has a user-friendly interface. A user simply selects the document that they want to annotate from their training set, and with one document at a time, they identify the entities that pertain to each category in each training document. The annotator is a separate module and is not required for a DocuShield installation. Our customers are entitled to the models we have already built, and if some categories are missing, we can set that up for you also. Now, I would like to demonstrate the template recognition redaction using regular expression. To start, I'll select my redaction tab, and then I'll add a start phrase. My start phrase is the template recognition. This is what I'll use to recognize the page that I'm going to be redacting. My first example is a financial page, and we can see I have some text at the top that I can use as a recognition for this page. So if I go to DocuShield, create a new start phrase, and then I'll add the description of the page that I'm adding. And then I'll add my regular expression pattern to recognize this template. And once complete, I'll go ahead and select Save. Since I've already added this rule, I don't need to do that. But we can see here the other start phrases that I've added for the additional pages that we're going to be redacting in this demo. After creating my start phrase for my template, now I can go ahead and add my redaction rule. I'll select redaction rule and create a new redaction rule. Again, if I open up our example page, I can see the areas that I would like to redact. For this example, I'd like to redact the application number. To do so, I'll just add my description. And then I can continue on adding my regular expression. For the redaction rule, we do have a expression builder. So here I can just add the words that I'm looking for on the page. And then I can go ahead and select add. And then I'll go ahead and add the last word that I need to add for this. Now we can see below the words that I've been adding are showing just below the word filter. What this is doing is this is creating the regular expression for the user. So if the user doesn't have much experience with regular expression or regex, they're still able to create the redaction rules. Once I'm satisfied, I can go ahead and select Add Redaction Rule. And now we can see my current pattern for the redaction rule to take place. Once I've completed, I can select Enable and Save. Again, I've already created my redaction rules for all the pages that I'm going to be redacting in this demo. Now let's go ahead and start redacting the documents. I'll select Document Redaction, create a new document, and then I'll give the path of the file. I'm going to go ahead and upload all the pages while I'm here. Page 3, and then finally the page 4. And of course, we have the 2 invoices. I will go ahead and upload those pages as well. And finally, the last invoice page. So as you can see, as I'm uploading the pages into DocuShield, they are being processed in the background, and we can now see the redacted or unredacted versions of the pages. I'll go ahead and open up the original page first. And on this page, I wanted to redact the account number, application number. So if I select the redacted version, we can see that the application number has been redacted. If I open page 3, I want to redact my first name as well as the address of the business. If I open up that redacted version, we can see that that has taken place. Finally, on page 4, I want to redact my national insurance number. If I open up my redacted version, I can see that that has been redacted. And with the invoices, the same. I want to redact my bill to, my ship to, and the balance. We can see all of those items have been redacted. So again, we can see all of the redactions that have taken place from the redaction rules that we added to DocuShield. Now finally, we can see that this last page here, or page 2, has a status of manual. And what that means is the redaction engine was not at the full confidence level to make a redaction. Now this one was done intentionally so I can show how this would be handled. So this page would be sent to the Paragon ParaVista HTML5 document viewer to be manually reviewed by a user. I'll simply open my ParaVista application. I'll select Get Next. And then we can see the page load up into the ParaVista viewer. If a redaction does need to take place, I can select my redaction button and apply redactions anywhere I feel need to be added. Once I've finished with the redaction, I'll simply just select Next again. This will replace the document with the redacted version. Now the folder is empty and the document has been redacted. Now if we take a look at that document, we'll see the redactions that have taken place. Let's go ahead and take our same documents and run them through DocuShield as the automated redaction process. In this example, we're going to be using mFile's document management system. We'll take the same pages that we just used before, put them into mFiles. I'll add my metadata. And we can go ahead and look at these documents so we can see the areas that we need to make redaction. So currently these documents have been unredacted and we're just waiting for the redaction process to finish. So I'll go ahead and refresh this page and we can see that the redaction is finished. So after refreshing my page, we can now see that the redaction has completed. If we go ahead and take a look at the first page, we can see the redaction has been made here, as well as this page, this one, and of course the two invoices we have at the end. And if we take a look at this document as we saw before, this one needs to be manually reviewed by a user. So I can go ahead and pull up the ParaVista and we can take a look at that document inside of ParaVista. So now I'm inside of ParaVista. I'll go ahead and select my Get Next document, and then the document will be loaded into the ParaVista viewer. I'll just make a redaction here, select OK, and then I can go ahead and release this document back to M-Files. And if we go back to M-Files, I'll refresh my page, and now we see the redaction has been made to this document manually. And this has been a video demonstration of the DocuShield redaction engine.
Okay, so that's a short demo of Matthew for DocuShield on how we can integrate our the DocuShield to M files. So we are opening our floor again for some questions. I believe Matthew and Brett is here from Paragon. Do you have anything to add before we ask for the questions from our clients, from our guests?
I I don't have anything to add yet at this time.
Okay. All right. So I think we have some another question here from our client. Can we access MFiles through web? Is it an add-on with or with additional cost?
So DocuShield runs as a service, an automated service. So it's actually redacting the documents that are from the M-File server. So it's not looking for the desktop or the web version. It's using the API to communicate with M-Files.
Okay, Brett.
I think, can you repeat the question, Ice?
Yeah. Can we access MFiles through web? Is it an add-on with additional cost?
Okay. I think, Brett, thank you for answering that question from the perspective of Paragon. Now, from the perspective of M-Files, M-Files as a browser-based interface, and it is part of the product. It has no charge. Okay. Does that answer the question? Yeah.
Right. Yes, sir. So, um, any questions from our clients? You can unmute yourself and ask those questions if you have any. Okay, so feel free to type in your questions. So I'd like to remind again everyone to kindly fill out the feedback form to qualify for a raffle. I already sent the link in our chat box, so you may fill out those forms now. And as we will be raffling off the winner in a short while. So for our raffle items, we'll have two winners of Jaguar UV sanitizer box. So this box is very useful, especially nowadays. If we go outside, you can put in your keys, your jewelries, your watch, your face mask, and even your cell phone from so it can be sanitized. And also one winner of Zenith multifunctional shoulder and neck massager. So for those who are working from home, all sitting all day, this is very helpful as well. So I'd like to invite everyone as well to like us on Facebook, connect with us on LinkedIn, and visit our website. So you can be updated on our current features and sorry, in our current update on M files and other products as well. Okay. So
Excuse me, ah,
yes, sir.
hindi ako maka-access dun sa chat box.
There's a question in the chat box.
Yes, sir. You can state your
Naka-muted, eh.
question here, sir, if you want.
Hindi yung link.
Ah, the link. Let me
Uh,
check.
there's also a question in the chat, which I think is for Paragon.
Yes, sir. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
So they were
For
asking if the documents are stored in mfiles repository. Uh, so the way we have it configured with the DocuShield engine is when documents are inside of mfiles, they're not able to be seen by a user until the redaction process is completed. So once redaction is completed, then all the users are able to see that document. And that's controlled by the versioning inside of mfiles. So yes, the documents are stored in the mfiles repository before and after redaction.
okay. So I hope
Question. Can we
yes,
share
sir.
the can we share the can these files can be shared externally, meaning outside the organization?
By
Yeah.
are you asking external user, anonymous users? You are referring to M files, right?
Yes.
So right now, the external users have to have a user. So you cannot. There's no anonymous user in M files. However, M files just bought HubShare, which allows for external users to log into M files. Now, HubShare will be available sometime in September. But of course, there's an additional cost. The other option that you may want to look at is through your portal via an API, you can access the documents from M-Files through your portal. COC M-Files has a REST API that allows lightweight interface to M-Files. But you need to code that, or we can help you code that for you if you want. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Um, hello. I want to add on also.
go ahead.
We can share our files or documents by through email also. We can right click on our file or document and share this through email as an attachment also. So we
In
can
other,
share on external users.
yeah. Thank you, Jared. So what we're saying is there are many options for you to share documents with external users. So if you want, we can discuss exactly what your requirement is. So we can give you these options. Okay. In Infomax, kasi we try to sell you the product that you need, not the product that we have. So, and that product would be, we could have it, but if you think that it's too expensive and we don't need all the bells and whistles of HubShare, we can have other options. And like Jared said, you can send it as an email. Of course, there are advantages and disadvantages to that, but that's up to you to decide which option you want to take.
Okay.
Right?
Okay, is there any more questions that you want to add? Let me check to answer for the questions. I think okay, so while waiting for others to fill out the form, I'd like to call on Sir Joseph Goyanko, our President and General Manager, for to do the closing remarks.
Okay. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for spending the time with us. And most especially, I want to thank Tony of Liquigas for sharing with us his M-Files experience. Um, I think the raffle will come after me, right? So, so I would like to congratulate in advance those who will win the raffle. Okay, so in this webinar, we discussed how you can view your document hierarchy to your own liking. So it is not predefined. We can define the hierarchy the way you want it. You can create, we've also discussed how to create standardized contract using document templates. So this is very important for your legal so that the latest contract is always being used when you generate a contract. And contracts are changing a lot of times due to government regulations, etc. So it is important that the right contract template is being used. Okay, we have also told you how to set up M-Files calendar and create an AP, accounts payable workflow, use intelligent metadata, and access external repositories. And I'd like to highlight that all of these are being done without coding. And I know you want to hear from this, but the best thing is that there is no additional license fees. Okay, so you already have what you already. This is working with what you have. Okay, now the first step of a digitalization process begins with simply scanning and storing digitized documents on Windows folders. I'm sure you have experienced this. All of you will probably have done this by now due to the pandemic. But later on, as you have volumes of files stored in Windows, you find out that security it becomes important, and the document integrity is also becomes very key. That means no documents are lost, no documents are modified, etc. So in that case, there is now a business case or a business requirement to create to move these files into a document management system for easy retrieval and, of course, access controls. And some of you have already done that. You already have a DMS. It should be M files, but it may not be M files. But the next step that you want to do once you have this already in a repository is to leverage this digitized information. And one way to leverage that is via automated processing through workflow, which is also part of M files, part of the basic package of M files. And this one question that was asked for external users. Uh, M-Files allows external users to access through mobile devices, through cell phone, but they have to have a user. They have to be defined in M-Files to do that. So the other option is integrate with your portal, as I mentioned before. You can, if you have our own portal, you can ask your external users to log in anonymously to the portal, and then just via an API access the documents from M-Files. Okay. And of course, another step aside from portal integration is you need to do back-end integration. So if you have an HRIS or if you have a CRM accounting system, you want to do back-end integration. But the whole purpose really is to have a straight-through processing, a processing where there is no more manual intervention required. Okay, I think that's the ideal way, but it's also part of the journey. Okay. Now, one more thing is that the pandemic has normalized the way that it has normalized a geographically dispersed office environment. Like Infomax right now, we are working from home. Uh, so this will mean in the future, the new normal will be a hybrid office with more people working from home. So now we have to look into this and say, what do we need if this is the new normal? Thus, we need a single repository of documents. That some people call that a single repository of truth. Uh, okay, that's more philosophical, but better is repository of documents. And it must be accessible by any authorized personnel using mobile devices. Okay, and the transactions should now become contactless. You see, even if we are vaccinated, there are still instances where they call it breakthrough, where COVID can break through the vaccine and still infect us. And of course, there are variants, the Delta variant, which is now becoming also a pandemic in its own sense. So, with that in mind, I'd like to thank you for partnering with Infomax and M-Files in your digitalization journey. So, we endeavor to assist you during each step of the journey, and we'll provide information to allow you to maximize your usage of M-Files. Okay, so allow us to understand. For us to do this, you allow us to understand your business processes so we can provide alternative solutions to improve it. And we have a venue for this, and we call it business planning. So every year we do business planning with our clients so we can understand what they want to do with M files or even non M files. So we will also assist you to comply with BIR, their repository requirements, Department of Labor requirements. Now coming up is the National Privacy Commission, which is the DPA. Okay. And lastly, I would like to invite you that if you have a business problem and would like to see how M-Files can help, we are ready to meet with you virtually, of course. Okay, thank you very much. And again, congratulations to the lucky raffle winner. Ice?
Yes. Thank you again, Sir Joseph,